Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about understanding Django architecture beyond the file structure. We are going to create a brand new project, go through the files and beyond, talk about MVC, MTV, structures, and so on. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay guys, so we now have this brand new project with all these files. We're going to come along them, see what what confuses juniors when they first start using Django, and we'll talk about the difference between project, between the app, and the reason about the architecture and what is hidden beyond. Okay, so the first file we see is manage.py. Um, Many of us understand it as some, run the project for file, but it's more than that actually. Um, it connects the first. Let's talk about the project. Um, the project, you can think of it as the container that configurates the configuration container that serves the project. For example, we have global settings, we have installed apps, we have the middleware, we have root URL configuration, and so on and so forth. We have also have a file for ESGI and we WSGI endpoints, which are later on going to be used um, for deployment. So here I have clicked configure Python interpreter, which is going to be preferred if we want to work with Python. In order to execute that language, we need an interpreter. So we should choose from our local system one. If you don't have one, you should create. And here we just point to that interpreter and we click apply. With that, everything should be good, and anything else from the project that I would mention is the URLs, which are used to expose endpoints and to render some content to the browser or to the service that is calling our API, for example. Because Django could be used in many terms. It could serve templates, which is part of the official structure of Django, which is called MTV, which stands for Model Template View. It's something like MCV, but here I have a file where I show the main difference between them. Django has model, MVC also has model. Then we have the template, which is a replace for the view in MCV. They actually serve the almost same purpose. And we have view versus controller. And now we will explain what each of them stands for and what they help us with. For example, the model represents the data and the structure of the database and how we interact with it. It defines schemas, handles ORM logic, and also encapsulates every the way how data behaves. So um, it is often called that models could contain business logic when appropriate, but in the Django style guide, it's not like that. Usually, the models which are defined in apps should be kept clean, and what I mean by that is saying that we should rather put our logic in the views. The views, no, the views should also be clean. Okay, let's talk about views. Despite the name, Django's view acts more like a controller. They actually accept requests. They validate the input. They call external services in order to, for example, do operations, call the database, and also they invalidate the output request that is returned to the server, to the client. Sorry. So there are some rules. It should not contain um, heavy business logic, and what else? It could contain large data transformation. It just a second, sorry, because it's almost 10 a.m. in Bulgaria. However, this is for the views. And then now about the templates, the latest thing, which is responsible for the representation layer. In API-based system, for example, Django REST framework, templates are often replaced by serializer and JSON responses. And what I mean by that is saying that usually the architecture of Django is expected expects from us to return a template, which is actually HTML with some dynamic data from Django models. However, we can also replace that behavior and, for example, return a plain JSON, which most of the modern REST APIs do. Or rather, we can also return, we can also include serializers, sorry, in the template, so we can invalidate that data that is coming in and leaving out. So if we need to combine what we have discussed so far and talk about the Django request lifecycle, here what is going to be like. In the understanding that's crucial for working with Django. So so about the lifecycle, it is as follows. Okay, so the client sends an HTTP request from the client with some data, whatever. Then we have a web server that towards the request to Django via WSGI or ASGI, and then we have the middleware which proceeds the request, which is defined here, one of these, for example. Then we have our URLs PY, which determines which view should be executed, and therefore the corresponding view is executed, and it starts to interact with external services, for example, querying the database, interacting with some models, all of these things, and then the response object is created, which the middleware should resolve in some way when the process response finish, and it returns that to the client in HTML variant like a template or rather JSON, and that's how Django originally behaves. There could be some things that you can tweak. It's very stable in the true network. However, it gives you the freedom to express yourself, try to find the best that fits your needs. So, in my opinion, it's a really great choice for teams that really wants to be productive. And you should understand that every request goes through a predictable pipeline. There, it could be defined. Django is not magic. It's structured, but in a way that helps us orchestrate the whole organization of the code and the flow we want to achieve. So that's going to be for this part of Django structure explained properly. In the next one, we are going to talk about modular design advice. We are going to actually create these apps. We are going to create views, models, and start to interact with them. So if you are enjoyed doing this video, please leave a like and subscribe. I really appreciate that. And see you in the next one.